What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Phase 6, your source for music, business, motivation, and support. It's your boy, Sirr Love. I got another dope episode for you today. We're continuing on with the series about managers, answering everyone's different questions, giving you general information about management in the music business, how it works for anyone that's looking for a manager, anyone aspiring to be a manager. This is just going to be some helpful content for you guys. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Today's subject is going to be managers as investors. A lot of managers that have reached out to me are saying, how much is it going to cost to break this artist? Should I put money into this artist? How does it work? If I'm an investor, how do I get my money back? All these different things. Well, let's talk about it. I mean, this is a real thing. You're an investor. You spend money on your artist. You're taking your artist here. You're taking your artist there. You're paying for this. You're paying for that. How does it work from a managerial perspective? Let's talk about it. Phase 6. So, as a manager, are you the investor? That is the question. The answer is no. No, you are not the investor. It's not your job. You don't have to invest in any type of way. You likely will, but you're not an investor. You will not be treated as an investor. Therefore, you do not have any incentive to invest. However, what if you are the investor? Can that be positive for you? It can. So let's talk about what this looks like. First off, breaking an artist in today's market is relatively expensive. Well, relatively inexpensive compared to what it used to be. Typically, breaking an artist in today's market is going to cost you at minimum $150,000, upward to $300,000 to $400,000 to $500,000 to break a particular artist. Now, that's an artist. You can break a record and not break an artist. People are doing that somewhere anywhere between $20,000 to $60,000, $70,000, sometimes just $50,000 to break just a record. And normally if the record breaks and the artist has any good brand or good personality or all sorts of other things that can make them a star, if they have other great music, etc., then maybe that record can help propel the artist to superstardom too. But we all know about songs that were really, really, really hot, but we never went and checked out the artist's album for whatever particular reason. Like, that's a common thing. That's nothing new. They've been called one-hit wonders before, and it wasn't because they weren't talented enough. It just their whole body of work wasn't marketed to us. And so single deals happen, and people get, signed to a situation where it's all about promoting the single and not about promoting the artist. Therefore, you see these type of scenarios. So you as a manager, this is what you're looking at from a number perspective. Now, for you guys that are not playing in that space, like you're nowhere close to that space, you're like bootstrapping it, you're $100 here, $100 there, $1,000 here, $1,000 there. Of course, it's a completely different hustle, but you're still investing and you're still playing a role as a manager and investing. You might be buying studio time, you're paying for parking every time you go places, you're doing all these different things. So, how does it work? Well, number one, as a manager, it is advantageous to have money. We talk about it in the three things. Guarantee money, success in the music business, have the three things. I say if you want to be a great manager, have one of the three. Well, one of those three is money. Having money can take you a long way. It can allow you to fund the artist to do all the different initiatives that you would like to do. As a manager, you're already getting 20% all the way around. So if you become the investor as well, you can also turn around and decide to become a production company, a label, or just get more equity out of the artist. Instead of taking 20%, you might be able to argue, 20% as a manager, another 10 or 20%, as an investor or something of that nature, which gives you a bigger slice, of the pie, right? These are different things you can do. I mean, there's no standard practice for how this would work as an investor that's going to be a manager, right? However, there are some drawbacks to being a manager investor. One of those drawbacks is that as an investor, as a manager and as an investor, everything is recoupable. But here's the issue. You're a manager. Manager and artist relationships are very, very delicate. They're very fickle. An artist can fire a manager at any given time and get rid of them. So let's say you're the manager, you invest all this money into the artist, and then the artist fires you. You just lost all your money. So now, as a manager, you're saying, well, I don't want to be the manager. I also want to be the record label because you can't fire the record label. Now you're in this double dipping scenario. Now, if the artist, and you got into a conflict and someone else came along, they would make you out to look like the criminal because why are you taking money twice? And you're saying, well, I'm playing two roles. In one role, I'm the manager and I'm doing all these managerial duties. But in the other role, I'm an investor and I'm throwing up all this money. So I have two separate deals. But, even though that makes logical sense, from a paperwork standpoint, it's still considered double dipping, and someone can get into the artist's ear and make the artist feel like this person is ripping you off and taking from you. Whereas you can have the exact same structure, you be the manager and someone else be the label, and the artist wouldn't see anything wrong with it, right? At the same time, on the flip end, everything's recoupable. So as a manager, if you're investing anything into the artist, you're supposed to get it back off the deal when they close. So let's say, or not even off the deal, off the sales, however you guys work it out. So let's say, in the process of you getting the artist out, you spent $10,000 of your own money, whether it was in studio time, it was in buying beats, it was driving up and down the East Coast, hotels, it was cars, whatever it was, gas, whatever it was, you spent $10,000. Well, if that artist signs a deal, you're supposed to be able to recoup that money and get your $10,000 back up front, then get your 20% out of, the remaining money that's left towards the artist. Now, the tricky part about this thing here is that an artist can get real funny about that. So say an artist did get a single deal, some label loved their new song and they signed them to a single deal, which they gave them like $50,000. Well, here you are, manager, saying, well, out of that $50,000, I need my $10,000 back for all the money that I've invested in you. So boom, now I got, $10,000 out the gate. The artist is left with $40,000. Then you say, out of that $40,000, I'm also your manager, so I'm supposed to get my 20%. So on top of that, I'm taking another $8,000. So now you walked away with $18,000. The artist is sitting there with $32,000, and the artist is feeling real funny, like, why are you all up in my pockets like this? You wasn't acting like this before the money came. Now the money here, you all up in my pockets, all trying. Why can't you wait till we blow up to get your piece? And then there's that argument right there. You don't want to say as a manager, well, what happens if you don't blow up? What happens if the record doesn't go? What happens if it doesn't stick? How am I going to get my money? That now you're treading in a funny place talking to the artist, and this is a person that can fire you at any given time. So recouping your money as a manager is difficult because artists typically don't want you to recoup unless, they understand the business on some level, or that money's just flowing from the ceiling and giving you your money back doesn't matter. It's the kind of same, philosophy in the info pack, How to Be a Music Manager 101 that I just released. I used the example of a college student. So imagine like some of you guys that decided to go to college, you took out all these student loans to go to college and you haven't had to pay the student loans back, and then you owe the colleges $30,000 right now, and then one day you come up on a situation where you get $50,000, and then the college comes back like, hold up, I need my 30 right now. Now, even though you know that college needs that 30, you're gonna be feeling some type of way like, yo, bro, like you can't get this right now. You know how hard I work? You know how long it took for me to position myself in my life to get this 30? I really didn't need you like that in the first place. You just gave me a piece of paper. All you gave me was a piece of paper. It was my mind, my hard work, my ingenuity that allowed me to get this $50,000 check. I know I owe you, but bro, you gotta take your payments in installments or something. Like, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. You don't want to give Sally Mae or give, Fed loan or just give them your freaking money. You already feel like you was getting ripped off out the deal anyway. That is how artists are going to feel when you come back and try to snatch the money. Now imagine if Fed loan or Sally Mae was trying to take their money back and all you had to do was fire them and the problem goes away. You may have a lawsuit, deal with the lawsuit, but the problem's over. A lot of people will bite and jump at that situation, and that is the scenario that you're in when you're investing in an artist and you want to recoup your money on the back end. So a lot of times you're not really going to recoup. You're going to have to bet that you're going to win and get your 20% off of winning. Someone that did it successfully, talk about him in the info pack as well, How to Be a Manager 101, How to Be a Music Manager 101. Scooter Braun put his money up in Asher Roth and in Justin Bieber. He's a unicorn though. He had the knowledge, the network, and the money out the gate. He had the knowledge because he was working with JD and in the record label system. He had the network because he was working with JD in the record label system, and he was a club promoter and was booking all the hottest talent at the time period. He had the money because he was a club promoter, making all that money as a club promoter. Then he had a salary for working with the label. So He had the knowledge, the network, and the money, the hustle. He was young. He was out there. He was getting it. He almost went broke breaking Asher Roth and Justin Bieber. He almost didn't make it. He invested just about everything he had, went dead broke in the process, bet it all, and won. And won really, 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 really big. So can you be an investor as a music manager? 100% yes. Can it get funny? Can it get fickle? 100% yes. So the question becomes, how are you going to structure it? Are you going to structure it as a record label and manager? And you think about QC, you got P and you got Coach K. P is solid foundations. Coach K is QC, quality control. Solid Foundations is a management company. At the end of the day, P and QC, both P and Coach K are both running, the show when it comes to both of those different things, even though they both have their own leadership and responsibilities and roles, and they've broken off, the tasks or whatever. But at the end of the day, there's two figures. So one can claim one half of management or whatever, and the other can claim the record label side, and it doesn't necessarily become a conflict. But when it's one person that's going to be manager and the record label, it can get funny, and of course it can get funny with in the artist's mind. It just can get funny, right? Whether you're a record label, whether you're a production company. So can you invest? Yes. Trying to figure out the best way to do it to keep the artist loyalty, because at the end of the day, a manager can be fired at any given time. I have to keep stressing that crap there. Loyalty, relationship, all that other type of stuff is important. Yes, you can sue and get money back and this, that, and the third, but if you've invested X amount of time into building an artist up to being something that's going to last for some period of time, and the only thing you get is some check from a lawsuit that's going to be small compared to what you could have made with the artist, it's not going to make you happy. So trying to figure out that situation is important. So this is not a yes or no question. The answer is yes, the answer is no. However, the question, the question for you is going to be, how do you want to do it? What's important to you? Does the artist understand business? Does the artist understand what you're trying to do? Do you want the artist to understand business? How deep are you going to get into this to make this happen? These are all questions that you guys got to answer. I help flush it out a whole lot more in the info pack, trying to give you guys the quick answer here so that you can take this information and go forward. So is the manager the investor? No, not naturally. Can the manager be the investor? Yes. Will a manager spend money on an artist in the process of breaking an artist? You're guaranteed 100% goddamn right. Now, I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little and a little bit about a lot. And when I stand in front of this camera, what do? I give you guys everything that I got. That's why I created www.phasevi.com, Phase 6, to teach you guys more about the music business. I really feel like everyone has an opportunity to win. If everyone had more knowledge and understood the game, everyone would really have a chance. And I just want to help people get a chance to swing at their dreams. You can reach out and send me questions and comments from the website. There's a contact page that lets you do so. You can shoot me text messages. The number is on the website. You can leave comments right here. I respond to website stuff a lot more, just being honest, but leave comments, talk to other people. I don't know, subscribe, DM other people these messages, share them on the low. You don't got to post them on your page, but let other people know we exist. Phase 6, we're looking to help people out. I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little about a lot. I'm trying to give you guys everything that I got. This is Phase 6. I hope I helped you, answered your question. I'm out of here.